Hi, and welcome to video number 13, the Seesaw of Energies. Let's start. Due to early childhood trauma, we dress ourselves with a specific identity. We subconsciously put a label upon ourselves to have at least some kind of a grip over our lives. Again, this labeling, identifying with a specific energy, is also a form of creating a form of safety. Disillusional safety, but we are unaware that it is an illusion in this stage of the process. We still suffer from childhood trauma, and this doesn't feel comfortable, to say at the least. So we tend to label ourselves, to give ourselves some kind of identity, and we feel like if we belong somewhere with the people wearing the same label and identity. Or we look for people wearing the opposite label, the people that identify themselves with the opposite energy, since opposite attracts. As a result of childhood trauma, I like to identify 3 types of labels or identities. Number 1, the victim. The victim is a person who still suffers a lot from what has been done to the victim in the past. It may be sexual or physical abuse, neglect, or something subtle like not being validated as being good enough. Not good enough to receive love from its parents. A victim is mainly angry and helpless. A victim is the ideal blame shifter. Everything terrible that happens in a victim's life finds its cause in the outside world. A victim needs a lot of attention and support from their environment. They are not really able to take care of themselves emotionally. They act quite helpless every now and then, and they feel overwhelmed and powerless by all kinds of circumstances coming their way, as if they are a problem magnet. At least that's what they believe. The victim is always looking for someone to be punished for what has been done to them in the past. Deep down inside, the victim feels very unworthy, powerless, and more deeply shamed for being violated in the past. Somewhere deep down inside, they blame it on themselves, blame shifting it to the outside world to avoid these deep feelings of shame. The perfect match for this agenda is energy type number 3, the felon with remorse type. But first, number 2, the felon. The felon is someone who feels as if he or she committed a crime in the past. For instance, the crime of not being good enough to their parents, and they feel as if they were blamed for this, and they adopt this accusation as the truth. These felons have distanced themselves from their emotions, more or less have superficial peace with the fact that they are felons, and continue their lives as such. People with this energy cannot be helped in therapy, not before they realize how they feel and act like a felon, not before they feel some kind of remorse for being a felon, which brings us to energy type number 3. The felon with remorse. This energy type feels a lot of guilt for something the felon might have done wrong during childhood. He or she committed the crime of not being good enough, not being responsible enough to make one or both parents happy, and not being able to be someone or do something as a child to receive the love he needed so much. So the felon did all of this according to the felon's subconscious mind and feels a lot of remorse, shame in adult life. The felon with remorse is always looking to receive one thing: forgiveness. The felon with remorse likes to receive forgiveness for whatever the felon has done wrong in the past, and the only way to find some relief is to find forgiveness. The ideal way to go out and find forgiveness for a felon, with remorse of course, is to find a victim he can try to save, and if he succeeds to make a victim happy, he will receive forgiveness, which is not the driving force of a victim. A victim only likes to see a felon to be punished. Now, imagine 2 people meeting up and joining up in a relationship or connection of any kind. The victim needs to be rescued, but above all, it is very angry deep inside, and it's looking for someone to be punished because only retribution will bring satisfaction to the victim. So the victim is looking out for someone with the felon energy, and preferably someone with the felon with remorse energy, and they are ready for the slaughter. So the victim meets up with a felon with remorse. They feel attracted to each other automatically. A felon with remorse needs forgiveness, or at least a chance to serve time or receive some kind of punishment, so the felon with remorse can do his or her time and be relieved from the burden, the guilt. The felon with remorse will work his butt off to please the victim. He will do everything to satisfy the victim because the satisfaction from the victim would mean a form of forgiveness. But the victim is not willing to forgive. The victim wants punishment, retribution. They have a different agenda. So the felon with remorse will become desperate after a while. All attempts to please and satisfy the victim are in vain. And the felon with remorse gives up all attempts to satisfy the victim in the end. Even worse, the felon with remorse starts more or less inviting the victim to punish him. He allows the victim to bully, to criticize, to dominate, to control, to break down the last bit of self-esteem and possession of the felon with remorse. Can you recognize these dynamics in your own relationships or relationships around you? Can you understand that these relationships are formed by two traumatized children in an adult package? Can you understand this will never work out properly unless both the victim and felon with remorse recognize this pattern and are willing to work on it? We have an additional video outside this program that goes a bit deeper into this subject and these energy types. If it truly interests you, the link will also be in the description of this video. For now, thank you very much for your attention, and I will see you in our next video. I salute you.